And it went off the rails for the prosecution today at the YNW Melly trial after a tragic direct examination. At the conclusion of today, the defense asked for a mistrial. You'll see the judge at the end basically say, I'll give it to you if you want it. This is my opinion, read between the lines. Ask your client though if he really wants it, because I'll give it to you. That's what I heard. That's what I saw. He doesn't say it, but reading between the lines, that's what that judge means. Watch this.
Mr. Devins has been prejudiced. This jury sat there and watched this fiasco unfold with at least 10, maybe 15 sidebars after every 2 questions. And for that reason, we think that it was deliberate. It is highly prejudicial. This jury has been tainted, and we move for a mistrial.
As said by the rap lawyer himself, YNW Melly has this court case exactly where he wants it. He's in complete control. Here's what you need to know. Now, a mistrial for this YNW Melly case has already been mentioned by his lawyers, fans, and even the judge himself. But what does this truly mean? Rap TV would share context on what a mistrial would mean, starting with, why would YNW Melly's team file for a mistrial? Well, if a mistrial is granted, it would lead to a built-in appeal, further stating, so what does that mean? Well, this means not only would we have to start the trial all over again, but YNW Melly's defense team would have a significant built-in advantage in the next trial, because that usually indicates improper admission of evidence or even jury misconduct, including a photo of YNW Melly and his lawyers connected to the tweet. Many people don't understand this photo. Many believe YNW Melly is angry with his lawyer in that photo. It's actually the opposite. When YNW Melly in the court was speaking about the mistrial, Melly allegedly didn't understand what it meant. He then turned to his lawyer and was reacting with excitement, hoping this means that he will be released from jail. His hand motions do look a little angry, but it's actually him being excited, as he's now just one step closer to finally being released. Shortly after, we would even see tweets of, this YNW Melly case is different. The prosecutor had 4 years to gather evidence against him, yet every piece of evidence she claimed has either been thrown out or inconclusive. They've kept dude locked up for 4 years, just because. Now, we would have rappers like Lil Durk begin reacting, sharing Free Melly on Instagram, and even Boosie sharing this to his. The YNW Melly mistrial talks started happening after the prosecutor's main witness took the stand, as we would see reports of YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend's mother is a prosecution witness. However, it looks like she doesn't want to be there testifying for the state.
I do remember that they kind of me and my daughter and take her to jail for accessory. I do remember that.
Yes. And in terms of the statements that you made about what happened, you don't have any recollection of that? Did you read this statement multiple times?
I looked at it and I just didn't recall it, and I don't know.
And so you indicated you hoped you were truthful with law enforcement?
Yes, I did.
I have to ask you to be more definitive. Were you truthful?
I don't remember what I said to them back then, so if I was to tell you something now, I could be lying. I don't want to lie on the stand because you're going to take me to jail. So I'm saying what you want me to say.
I do not want you to say anything, I want you to tell the truth.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
The prosecutors were hoping and expecting her to fully cooperate and share what happened on the night of Sack Chaser and Juvie's passings. However, the feds have been treating her poorly for the last few years, making her wear a GPS tracking device around her ankle, embarrassing her at work, as many believe she's a criminal now, as well as monitoring all of the steps that she takes every single day. Many also believe that the YNW company paid her off not to speak. However, that is unknown. The other major win for YNW Melly leading to his release was in the report of YNW Melly's reaction when a firearm expert tells the judge that he did not bring the item because he has no idea what item was used for this crime, alongside YNW Melly's funny reaction.
Why not?
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Okay. Do you have a...
However, there was one issue that was raised in the courtroom shortly after, as we would see a report of Forensic scientists that covered the passings in the YNW Melly trial says co-defendant YNW Bortlen tested positive for firearm residue.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of shot residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of shot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was shot residue present on the hands.
Now this ends up relating to the same thing that YNW Melly's lawyer mentioned earlier on in the trial, as YNW Bortlen also allegedly lied to the feds about what happened.
Evan's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
He's revealing that YNW Bortlen actually lied to the feds when they were asking him what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie on the night of their passings. Also mentioning that YNW Bortlen brought a change of clothing, as it's now making it very obvious he knew something was going to happen on this night, as why else would he bring a change of clothing to a recording studio at 4 in the morning? The interview of Bortlen lying to the feds was also shared in the courtroom.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
As 50 minutes after they shared that interview, the trial would go to recess. This is when famous rap lawyer would also confirm that was YNW Melly's attorney.
And we have an absolute shell being dropped by the defense, a mic drop moment. The lead attorney on Melly's defense team telling the jury that Cortland Henry lied to police when he showed up at Memorial Hospital that morning. He lied about what happened. He lied about not having a phone on him. That Cortland Henry, this is according to Melly's attorney, that Cortland Henry showed up at that hospital with a change of clothes on, and that Cortland Henry showed up at that hospital with powder residue on his hands.
This would end up resulting in a massive mess on social media, leaving many to believe that Melly's lawyer is trying to put this all onto YNW Bortlen, in other words, snitching out on Bortlen. However, this is when we would see YNW Juvie's father step in, reacting and sharing his opinions on YNW Melly, because he doesn't want the focus to be taken off of Melly and onto Bortlen. We would see reports of the father of YNW Juvie explained why he believes YNW Melly is responsible for this crime.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation when I finally talked to him and Cortland on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They wasn't reacting to. They act like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind something's not right.
Juvie's father also mentioned an altercation that occurred 2 days before their passings between YNW Melly and Sack Chaser, and it involves YNW Melly's gold grills falling out in the process, if you understand what I mean. It's also been stated that Juvie's father just sees YNW Melly differently, and he doesn't appreciate the fact that there's many instances of Melly and his attorneys chatting and laughing in the courtroom during this trial.
Oh, Jada is Anthony's? What about Chris's? Do they live here or in Barrow? The mom? Who lives with you at 18521 Southwest 44th Street?
Which is obviously very strange behavior. However, the laughing would soon stop, as we would see reports of prosecutors show video of YNW Melly hopping inside of the car that was involved in his friend's passings.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes? All right.
That never-before-seen footage not only confirms that YNW Melly did get inside of that vehicle with Bortlen, Sack Chaser, and Juvie, but it also confirmed where everyone was sitting. You see, YNW Bortlen was the driver of this vehicle. YNW Melly was sitting directly behind him, leaving Sack Chaser and Juvie both to sit on the opposite side. However, now the court knowing where everyone was sitting, the prosecutors then answered the #1 question that many people had. What was YNW Melly and Bortlen doing for that 40-minute span? You see, after the crime was committed, YNW Melly and Bortlen, as shown on GPS evidence, sat still for 40 minutes, not getting Sack Chaser and Juvie medical attention or anything. Now, it was shared in the courtroom. Prosecutors say Fredo Bang picked up YNW Melly after the incident involving Juvie and Sack Chaser.
And Chris Thomas are. So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Devins is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location, to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens, then about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin, where Mr. Devins has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone calls.
This reveals that YNW Melly used that 40 minutes most likely to calm YNW Bortlen down if the crime did happen in the car, as well as calling Fredo Bang to come pick him up down the street. YNW Bortlen used that 40 minutes to do the same thing as Melly, probably trying to calm down, but he also used that 40 minutes to change his clothing into a fresh new pair of clothes, as well as create an excuse for what just happened. And that excuse that he created was the one shared earlier on in the video, where the feds believe that he's lying. However, there was a few more moments in this trial that many fans felt weird about. Or is it because YNW Melly is super confident? Now, it starts with the report of YNW Melly prayed in court this morning before his trial started. Then it would lead into the first recess of that trial day, and we would notice even more unusual activities by Melly, as viral videos would go around of Melly acting strange. This would then lead into the next break, where YNW Melly is then seen doing weird head movements as well as flexing his diamond grill inside of a courtroom. I will remind you, if you forgot, this is a trial that could result in the penalty for this man, and he doesn't look bothered at all. Just as his manager 100K Track said, Melly has great defenses on his side.
He built a real great solid team away from just being innocent, because he wouldn't do such a crime. He prepared himself and got a proper, defense. Their job is to handle themselves in trial, not on social media. You guys are taking it that way. If they say they got DNA in a car, I'm just gonna tell you, Melly DNA was found in the car. You're gonna think, yeah, his DNA was found in the car the day of the. Oh, he jumped in a car and his DNA was in the car. He did it, okay? But you're not gonna put the fact that this was his car for 6-7 months on those documents and dockets and just automatically be like, yo, he's fried. You don't even know what the defense is. You don't even know what the rebuttal is. You don't even know why that situation occurred. You hear ballistics flying. You don't know what the defense is. You hear this, you hear that. You get what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest.
This would end up resulting in rappers finally reacting to YNW Melly, as we would see YNWB Slime share this during an interview.
So what's some of the musical advice YNW Melly gave you?
Musical advice: find fire melodies and make money.
No cap. At least you're just straightforward. How was it to see your brother rise to the forefront?
Kind of like normal to me, because I already knew it was gonna happen. It's just a matter of time when.
When can the people expect to see Melly on?
What could it be? I would say a cheat code for the rap game.
To even Drake talking about YNW Melly, as well as how great he is at creating music.
A kid like YNW Melly who just has the craziest melodies, pain in his voice, but not afraid to just be like, yeah, sure, I might be this way on road, but in my music, this is what I enjoy doing.
We would even later then see Kodak Black speaking on YNW Melly, as well as sharing his favorite memory with him.
Yeah, man, free that boy Melvin, man, free Melly. Yeah, man, stop playing. We not playing like that. Oh, you gonna
Just before the release of Lil Durk's new album, he would share a moment on his Instagram story. It's also a memory that he had alongside King Von.
Bust, you got 10 piece. Bust harder than mine. It's me. It's the It's yours. I say, you got 10 piece.
With the Lil Durk phone call going viral at that time, it would get the attention of Meek Mill, who he would share on Twitter, "Free Lil Melly, he's innocent. Let's watch the facts of this case so he doesn't get railroaded. It's in Florida, it might be on TV."